Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Imran. I welcome to all the audience who are watching this video. From today, we will start lectures in the subject Phonetics and Phonology. So there will be several videos on different topics related to phonetics and phonology. So let's start. Now, objectives and aims of this session. The first objective of this session is to define and differentiate the terms phonetics and phonology. And the second, because most of the students have problem to differentiate phonetics from phonology. So we will discuss this in detail. And the second objective of this session is to differentiate vowel from consonants. And the third, to understand types of phonetics. And the last one, to differentiate voiced sound from voiceless one. Now, before to differentiate these two terms, we have to understand the exact pronunciation of these two terms. The first term is spelled as Phonetics. So it is pronounced as phonetics. As a whole, we will pronounce it as phonetics. While the second one is Phonology. So that is phonology. So as a whole, it will be pronounced as phonology. So now we will differentiate phonetics from phonology. First of all, we should learn that what is phonetics. Phonetics is the systematic study of speech sound or the study of speech sound in general, which is physical and directly observable. So two things we notice here, that the first thing, that it is the systematic study of speech sound. And the second, we learn that it is physically observable. So it means that phonetics is concrete, right? And it is not the systematic study of a particular speech sound. Generally, we say that it is the systematic study of sounds of speech, right? So overall, it's like general. So the second definition is the general study of the characteristic of speech sound is called phonetics. So we learn that what are the different characteristic of speech sound. And the third one is phonetics provides objective ways of describing and analyzing the range of sounds humans use in their languages. So if we sum up overall this definition, so we can say that phonetics is the systematic study of speech sound, and it is general. It is the study of general characteristic of speech sound, and phonetics is concrete, and it is not for one language. The study of speech sound, it is for all human languages. In contrast, phonology is essentially the description of the system and pattern of speech sounds in a language, and it is in fact based on the theory of what every speaker of language unconsciously knows about the sound pattern of that language. So phonology, on the other hand, it is the study of how we organize speech sound in a language. So the phonology of English would be different than the phonology of Urdu. The phonology of Urdu then would be different from the phonology of Pashto. And the phonology of Pashto would be different than the phonology of Persian. So it means that it is the organization of speech sound in a particular language. How different sounds are combined to make utterances, to make phrases, and to make sentences meaningful. So these combination of sounds are different in different languages, because sounds are combined in Urdu differently, sounds are combined in English differently, and sounds are combined in Pashto differently. So it is how it is different than phonetics. So phonetics is concrete, and phonology it is you can say it is abstract, and then phonetics it is general study, and phonology it is the study the sound pattern of particular language. And then phonetics that is for all human languages, and phonology that is for particular language. Like the phonology of, as I told you, that the phonology of each language is different from another one. So this is like the overall differences between these two terms, phonetics and phonology. Now it is further elaboration of this that phonetics is the term used for the study of sound in human language, not like any particular language, but human language, all languages. The study of the selection and pattern of sounds in a single language is called the phonology. So when you do what? When you select the pattern of sounds in a single language, this is then called phonology. Now here we are with the two most important words in phonetics and phonology. One is vowel while another one is consonant. So we will differentiate now vowel from consonant. What is vowel? The most important view is that vowels are sounds in which there is no obstruction to the flow of air as it passes from the larynx to the lips. So when you let the air passes from the larynx to the lips, there will be no obstruction, there will be no obstacle. You don't have to stop the flow of the air somewhere in the mouth, and you let it pass freely. So when you let it pass freely, so such kind of sounds then are called vowel sound. A doctor who wants to look at the back of the patient's mouth often asks them to say ah. Making this vowel sound is the best way of presenting as unobstructed view. So here when you say ah, so there is unobstructed view of this sound, because you don't have to stop the flow of the air somewhere in the mouth, like with the help of your teeth, with the help of your tongue, with the help of your a roof of the mouth, with the help of like palatal. So nowhere you have, or with the help of your velar, so nowhere in the mouth you have to stop the flow of the air. So vowel sounds are we can call it unobstructed. On the other hand, consonant sounds, so they are obstructed. And consonant, when you produce consonant sounds, so the flow of the air has to be stopped, has to be obstructed, has to be stopped somewhere in the mouth with the help of your lips, with the help of your teeth, with the help of your tongue, with the help of your velar, or some other organ of speech. Right? So let's define it. Consonant, if we make a sound like s, so look at when you produce the sound like s, so you are stopping. You are stopping. Sometimes you are stopping like completely, and sometimes you are stopping the flow of the air partially to produce the sound like s and d and t. So when you're producing these sounds, so you stop the flow of the air somewhere in the mouth. That's why these sounds are called consonant. So it can be clearly felt that we are making it difficult or impossible for the air to pass through the mouth. Most people would have no doubt that sounds like s, d should be called consonants. Why they are called consonant? Because the air cannot pass freely from your mouth. The air which begins from your lungs, passes through the larynx, and then come to your mouth, and then you let it out. So when you let the the air out from your mouth. Before letting out, you have to stop and obstruct somewhere in the mouth with the speech organ. So such kind of sounds which are obstructed are called consonant sounds, and such kind of sounds when you produce and the air passes from your mouth freely without any obstruction, such kind of sounds in English are called vowel sounds. Now here we are with types of phonetics. Phonetics is actually the systematic study of the production of speech sound. Then this production of speech sound is further divided into three other types. Now first is called articulatory phonetics, the second is called acoustic phonetics, and the third type is called auditory phonetics. Now what does articulatory phonetics deal with? So articulatory phonetics, it deals with the production of speech sound. Here we study how speech sounds are made or how speech sound are articulated. While in acoustic phonetics, we study the physical properties of speech sound as sound waves. So it deals with the physical property of speech sound when it is in the air. And the third one is auditory phonetics, and it deals with the perception by the ear, how the sound comes to your ear. So first, articulatory phonetics, we study how sounds are produced or articulated. Second, acoustic phonetics, we study the physical properties of speech sound waves in the ear. When you produce a sound, it is in the ear. You study a different ways of this sound. And the third, auditory phonetics, we study that how the sound is perceived or how the sound comes to your ear. So these are types of phonetics. Now here we are with sound. In phonetics, sound can be voiced and sound can be voiceless. Now what is a voiceless sound? So when the vocal cords are spread apart and the air from the lungs passes between them unimpeded, sound produced in this way are described as voiceless. You got it? So when the air, it comes from the lung and passes between the vocal cords unimpeded, right? And there will be no like a vibration, no vibration. So sounds produced in this way are described as voiceless. And when the vocal cords are drawn together and the air from the lungs repeatedly pushes them apart as it passes through, creating a vibration effect, sound produced in this way are described as voice. So what are then voice sound? When there is vibration, when the air passes between the vocal cords, and when there is no vibration and the air passes through these vocal fold or vocal cords, so such sound then are called voiceless sound. Now this is the picture of vocal fold or vocal cords. You can see when the vocal cords are spread apart, so we produce voiceless sound. And when the vocal cords are drawn together, now they are drawn together, so in this case they will vibrate. So we will produce a voiced sound in English phonology. The distinction between a voiced and voiceless sound can be physically felt if you place a fingertip gently on the top of your Adam apple. And if your Adam apple vibrate, so the sound would be a voiced one. And if your Adam apple, it does not vibrate while you produce a sound, it will be a voiceless sound. Like for example, if you place a fingertip on the top of your Adam apple and just produce the sound like zzz, so you will feel a vibration. So it would be a voice sound. Similarly, if you place your fingertip again and just try to produce sound v, so you will feel vibration. And if you place like a fingertip on the top of your Adam apple and you try to produce sound like s, so you will feel no vibration. Similarly, for the sound f, you will feel no vibration. So such sound would be voiceless sounds in English phonology. Now this is another picture of vocal cords for voiced and voiceless sounds. You can see vocal cords when they are open and you produce a sound and there's no vibration, so the sound will be a voiceless one. On the left you can see that the vocal cords are open, and on the right you can see that the vocal cords are closed. So they are closed, and when you produce a sound and the air it try to push them apart and you produce a sound, so such sounds would be a voiceless. And when they're already open and you produce a sound, so such sound would be voiceless sound in English phonology. Now in these pictures you can see Adam apple on the right as well as on the left. So when the Adam apple vibrates, so the sound will be a voiced one. And when it doesn't vibrate, so the sound will be a voiceless one. So thank you so much for watching this video. Our next lecture will be about the production of speech sound and places of articulation and manner of articulation for consonant sound. Thank you so much.